the more you can discipline yourself to saying yes to the right things and saying no to the wrong things, doing that consistently is going to absolutely separate you from the pack.
You have more of an impact sometimes by saying no on the whole overall group and the health of the company and the people that are around you than you do sometimes if you say yes.
All right, welcome back to the 3PX show. We are glad that you're here. Thank you for joining us. Episode 20.
Wow.
Right?
2-0. Look at that.
I know, the
That's
big
a big
2-0.
deal. That's a good one.
Yeah, episode 20. I'm very excited about this. And before we get started, I just have to say that I have a deep issue. I feel like I need to confess it on the show for everyone. I have a deep issue.
All right.
That when I'm going through periods of like high stress, I have a shopping problem, but also Facebook does a really good job of targeting me for certain things. I didn't even tell you this. So forget the 5 pairs of shoes that I bought last week. Okay. That's bad enough. They are really nice though.
They are nice.
I'm not even wearing one of the new pairs.
Wow.
But I also got these new, I bought a whole multi-pack of these. They're called David protein bars. Because I saw this Facebook ad and I'm like, oh, that guy looks like he's in really good shape and he's eating this thing.
Gotta have some of those.
Let me try that. They're like, oh, 28 grams of protein, like 2 net carbs. I'm like, oh man, let me try that. So, $100 later on like a box of random protein bars that show up. No, that's not all. Then I got targeted for this other thing called Gripzilla. It's like this tool that you like do this with it and it works your forearms.
Pull up, yeah.
Yeah. I got it in my office right now because I'm like, oh, you never know when I'm just kind of in my office in meetings. I can be on the Zoom just, doing this. And then they got me for this other tool. Like it's like, think of it like wire cutters, but you like push like this and it's supposed to be able to work your chest and all that. So I got that at the office too.
Yeah.
So not just the shoes, but also it's like Facebook knows when I'm under stress and they target me for these things.
It gets easy to buy on something like that because you start scrolling through it and looking at it. It's like, ooh, I could use that, or I'd like to have that. We went shopping yesterday, took Allison shopping. She's about to move. And so we took her shopping yesterday. We're down in Green Hills and go through and shop for a little bit. And then we get over around where Oak Hall is. That's the clothing store that I like. And so they go to their shop and they say, well, if you want to go over there, you can. I was like, okay. And so I didn't tell them I already had something over there waiting for me. That I already had a jacket that I already bought a few weeks ago. And so I went over there, got it, and came back and put it back in the car and walked back in. It's like, man, you were over there quick. I was like, yeah, I didn't see anything. And so anyway, we get home and they're unloading. It's like, oh, what is this? But it's just one of those vices. I went down there and I was walking through getting something else, picking something up actually, and I saw this coat for when we go to Iceland. I'm like, ooh, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
And so, of course, I bought it and had a size and all that kind of stuff.
I just appreciate how supportive Stephanie is of my vices. I was expecting y'all to like
blast you,
intervene or something.
No, she's used to it with me.
Yeah. She's like, well, we all have our vices. Everything's fine. Yeah.
The bad thing is I'm probably going to have a pair of shoes show up today and one show up tomorrow.
We got a problem.
I know it is.
I'm
constantly, but I feel good about it in a sense because, I'm upgrading, but I'm also, I take a lot of stuff over to the local church and drop off and give away.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm doing something good on that part of it.
I asked Landy, do you think that there's anyone needing shoes that are
size
also
16.
size 16? And she's like, I don't know, but these are nice. We are not throwing them away. So if you're out there and you live in the Sumner County area, some size 16 shoes.
There are probably some people that have some kids that basketball players or something. It had to be somebody that's,
oh, that's
7
true.
foot.
Yeah, like maybe you don't want to spend a lot of money for your kids because you can't find large kid shoes that are cheap.
No, not at all.
So maybe you got a kid in high school that's size 15 or 16. I got all the church shoes you'll ever need.
And then some.
And then some. Business casual. I got your back.
There you go.
All right. So this episode is going to be good, and not just because we're going to keep it to 30 minutes or less, but because I think this will probably be one of the most easy to listen to, simple, because if it's something that I'm talking about, it's got to be simple and easy. Otherwise, I'm not going to understand it. But what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about two things that absolutely separate the most ultra successful people from moderately successful, average, that kind of thing. There are some real serious differentiators. Now, I'm not talking about the list you see on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook, the 10 successful business tips, that separate, there's about 100 number one things that you need to do to be a great leader and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yep.
But I really feel like this boils it down to the bare bones of the two things that differentiate people from, being highly, highly successful and everyone else. But your shirt kind of leads into that. So before we get started with that, WWW, what's Wayne wearing?
What's Wayne wearing? It's discipline. It's the bridge between goals and accomplishments. So just like you said, our lesson today, our episode today, is going to lead right into that. And I think it's going to be I honestly think it's going to be a great episode because it's I've learned a lot through this over the years, and it's just so true. So we can just jump into it and kick it off.
Yeah.
However you want to lead in there, but it's definitely a good one.
Yeah, and the notes are primarily around business things. But there's this is going to apply a lot to just general personal life. Let me just tell you, what the two things are, and then we're really going to sort of dive deep into them. So the two things that absolutely separate ultra successful people from really the rest of the pack is, number one, the ability to say yes to doing things that you should do, but you don't want to do. And then the inverse of that, the second thing is the ability to say no to things that you should not do, but you really, really want to do.
Yeah.
The more you can discipline yourself to saying yes to the right things and saying no to the wrong things, in spite of how you might be feeling one way or the other about those things, doing that consistently is going to absolutely separate you from the pack. Okay?
It will.
Now, the problem with this is, and I got some ideas we can talk about on how you can start to train yourself on this, because you got to start small, right? And then going back to I think it was the last episode, one of the last episodes or two, you got to celebrate the small wins. When you're making good decisions, you may not always see the outcome of those things right away. You got to celebrate yourself. You got to, reward yourself, encourage yourself when you're doing the right thing.
Well, a lot of people really, when the more successful that you get, the more you do in business, the more people want to ask you to do things. And so before you know it, you can get bogged down big time and doing all kinds of things, like you said, you shouldn't do, but you said yes to, versus doing the things that but you want to do those because it's kind of fun and it'd be cool to do those. But then before you know it, you're just totally overwhelmed, bogged down, and it's like, okay, now what do I do? Mm-hmm. Because you get in a rut, and I've been there time and time again. It's a mess.
And I'll give two quick examples because like Quentin says, he's like, how do you guys always have like real life examples for all these things we talk about? Because I'm only going to sit up here and talk about stuff that we have already been through, got the T-shirt, and we can tell you don't make these mistakes. So just recently, two things. Some of you may remember or know that I sit on the board of directors for the Down Syndrome Association, right? And recently, it's been very, very difficult to commit the time that I know that organization deserves from me, and balance all the things that we have going on in the businesses right now, particularly the new launch and the move and all that kind of stuff. So as much as I did not want to do this, I knew it was best for the businesses. It was best for me. I took a pause, from the board. So I talked to the board president and I said, hey, I don't want to resign. I don't want to leave permanently, but what I'm asking for is I need about a 6-month break.
Yeah.
And it killed me to do that because I love engaging with the board members. I love engaging with the community and problem solving and all that. But I know that's what's best for me right now. Then the other thing is, man, I love coaching people. And a guy that was listening to our podcast reached out to me via LinkedIn, and he's actually here locally, and he was wanting a professional coach, and wanted to meet, wanted to get together, and felt like that forming a relationship could add some value and help him. And man, it killed me to say no.
I'm sure it did.
I want it because he's in real estate, and he's talking about growing his business, and I was all excited. I'm already thinking about, synergies and how I could support him and all that. And I'm like, I just said, I have too much going on right now. I just can't do it.
No, this is a perfect episode. Honestly, when I saw it, when you sent it over, I started reading. I was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly, honestly, what I needed to hear, because I'm in that phase right now, because there's things coming up. We got so many things going on right now. I started looking at my calendar and looking at some of the things that I'm doing, and I'm like, man, I've got way too many things going on outside of work, and it's starting to interfere with things that I'm doing inside of work. And so and usually it's not that big of a deal, but we got the move that's coming up, and that's coming up this weekend starting. Yeah. The renovations of the building, the website, just all the different things, and then the scaling of it. So there's
the launch of another new website.
That
you're doing.
Yeah. So it's just
the design and everything for, like,
and it's just, it's coming. And it's like, okay, I got to start saying no to certain things. Even like some of the trade shows, I wanted to jump in and start doing them. And I started looking, thinking, yeah, that's probably not a good one. And I need to say no to a few things. And so there's a few things that I've been looking at and starting to look at my calendar and saying, okay, I've got to really clean some of this up and just say no. And so when I saw this, I was like, oh, that was God telling me, say, yep, you need to back up a little bit and take care of what's most important.
Yeah. Because you jumped on those trade shows fast, I remember.
I did.
You love doing those trade shows.
Well, I do. There's so much fun.
You love getting around people and talking about our business and telling the story, and you do really good at it. And you always come back with tons of connections. And
I mean, it's the part of that part of it's fun. That part of it I really get a lot out of and enjoy it. Again, at communicating with everyone, but it's that's it. But it adds an extra element to what I'm doing. It's not just showing up and doing it. There's follow up on the backside too. So
yeah, and sometimes it feels like punishment when you're saying no to things that you want to do, even though you probably shouldn't do it or you don't have the time to do it. Yeah. It almost feels like punishment, and the reason is because we won't see the benefit of you saying no to those things. We won't see the benefit of me saying no to those things for months, possibly.
Yeah.
We may not even realize that because we said no to these things, we were able to do these other things better. Right. So you may not even ever be able to connect the dots between I said no to these things and it equaled this specific outcome. That's when sacrifice becomes hard, because you can't connect it directly back to I said no to this thing or I said yes to this thing and it equaled this success or this particular outcome.
Think about this. A lot of times when you say yes to something that you really want to do, it's more of a personal agenda that you want to do. Who does it really affect? Well, it's primarily going to affect you the most because it's what you want to do. But when you say no to it, and there's good ways to say no, right? It's not just no, I'm not going to do that. It's just hey, let's put this off. I may do it later, but not going to do it now. But you have more of an impact sometimes by saying no on the whole overall group and the health of the company and the people that are around you than you do sometimes if you say yes, because then it stretches you and you have less time to put on the things that are important, right?
Yeah. 100%. So basically what we're talking about here is you've got to think about the decisions you make as leverage, saying no to low leverage desires and saying yes to high leverage discomfort. Now, I'm not, we've said this before on the podcast. Wayne and I are spiritual people. We're Christians. This is not necessarily like a spiritual podcast or anything.
Right.
But I'm going to give you one player tip, one thing that you can start doing that will really help you be disciplined to saying no to things that you want. And, cause this is not a discipline that you're going to get overnight. Right. So I'll just say it, fasting.
Oh,
if you can say no to food, you can just about say no to anything.
Amen to that.
So I just want to encourage you, if you're watching or listening and you want to start working on the discipline of saying yes to things that, you need to do that maybe you don't really want to, or saying no to things that you probably shouldn't do, but you really want to do anyways. I feel like Paul right now.
Yeah.
For you Bible studiers out there, this is what Paul talked about as one of his greatest issues, right?
Yeah.
You start training yourself to say no to lunch, or go home from work and skip dinner, say no to dinner. Then what you're doing is you are really conditioning yourself, your mind, your heart to take control over making good decisions, and not just allow your desire or your intuition or whatever you kind of feel like doing in the moment to control your decision making.
Right. Well, Stephanie and I, we've been on this health kick right over the past almost a year now, getting close to going on a year.
Your transformation has been incredible, by the way.
That's been good. I mean, I feel great about it.
Not to cut you off, but yesterday I'm with that health group, right? Yeah. And I'm getting carried around to all the different imaging places. And it's like half the day he wants to talk to me about Wayne and Wayne's transformation and how amazing he looks and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I see him every day. I know he looks great. Yep, I know.
That's funny.
So everyone's very proud of you and they're talking all about it. Just want you to know that.
I appreciate that. And that wasn't the point I was trying to make. So I do thank you guys for anybody at Next Hill. Thank you. I appreciate that. But, so we've been talking about, Steph and I have been talking about intermittent fasting and doing a fasting where, you start intermittent fasting and then you do even a 72-hour fast where you just drink water or coffee or something like that. The health benefits that you get from that just can really change how your whole health is, how your heart health, your gut health, everything about that can just change who you are. And so if you think about that, and it's kind of the same way of saying no to something, and we're not saying that this whole episode is about saying no, but it's saying no to the wrong things kind of thing.
Yep.
But it's if you do it the right way, it has such big benefits for you. But if you keep saying yes, if you keep eating the wrong food, right? If you keep eating a bowl of ice cream at 9 o'clock at night and going to bed at 9:15, which sounds great, by the way, but there's nothing good that's going to come from it. And you keep filling yourself with the wrong things, because we can say yes to so many things. I mean, this past couple of years, there have been a lot of opportunities for me to say yes, and I probably said yes to a lot more things than I probably should have. And I've seen that and I can feel it. And that's kind of where I'm at now, is looking back and saying, okay, I do have a lot on my plate on the outside because I'm on some different boards and do a lot of different things at this point. And I enjoy it, but it also, it is very time consuming with it. And so just like the fasting part of it, you start, that intermittent fasting. So you're only eating a certain times of the day. And you can eat what you want to during those times, but the rest of the day, you fast and you don't. And so it just has the health benefits to make you a lot better. This right here kind of has that health benefit of your business and how you operate, how you treat yourself, and the time that you have to be able to focus on the things that truly, truly matter. Especially if you're a family, you got young kids, that is also a big part of it too, because you can say yes to so many things that you spend more stuff doing that than you do spending time raising your own kids, right? Because you're so focused on doing things for others. And so that can be a big issue too. So,
yeah. And I just want to reiterate one more time, the things you're talking about is your transformation, it's been fast, but it wasn't overnight.
No, not at all.
So you have to be willing to do the things day after day after day, even when you don't see the results for an extended period of time.
Right.
Like I finally got back into the gym. Thank you, Lord.
Yeah.
And the first really month or two, man, it was agonizing. You're not seeing any results. It's taken 3 nights a week, kind of thing. And I'm just now about 4.5, 5 months in, and I'm feeling like, okay, it's easier to work out. I've got more endurance. I'm feeling stronger. I'm starting to see the benefit, but it's super easy to tap out, in the beginning. So, let's dial this back to work in a couple of ways. So first, what I want to talk about is there's a lot of you listening right now. You're in leadership roles, you're in manager roles, and you're doing 1,000 things.
Right.
I want you to, after this, you finish listening to this podcast, I want you to take a step back, and I want you to think about the things, and I would encourage you to write them down. You can call it a kill list, whatever. Think about the things that you do every single day that you enjoy doing, but you shouldn't be the one doing them inside your business.
Good point.
You got to write that stuff down, okay? And then evaluate who should or can do those things to you. Now, why you're doing them, maybe it's because you feel like you're the only one who can, or maybe it's because you really enjoy doing this certain thing. But if I want you to think about it from this perspective, if you could give yourself back 6 to 8 hours a week, and you devoted that 6 to 8 hours a week to revenue growth, because no one can commit to revenue growth or grow in customer base like the founder, the owner of an organization, right? So let's just say that's what you want to do. If you committed 6 to 8 hours a week additionally to growing your business because you moved these tasks off your plate that you shouldn't be the one doing, could be accounting stuff, could be operational stuff, could be purchasing stuff, whatever. Those 6 to 8 hours a week, you're probably not going to see the benefit in the first week, first 2 weeks. But I promise you, if you did that for an entire year, you might see 20, 30% revenue growth.
You could very easily. But I've got a kind of just a thing that, and I don't know if I tell a lot of people this, but I tell several people, but one of the things that I think about, especially as a founder, owner of a business, my goal has been to work myself out of a job. Not because I don't want to do anything, because I've got other things that I want to do. But when I do that, it means I'm delegating. Other people are doing things, and when you do your stuff, well, I know you can do it. And so why do I have to worry about that? We'll talk about it and talk about different things, but and then Angela can do her side and Sam can do his side. And we got such a great team now that you build around you. Let other people do it. That's what you hire them for. And so that's part of that saying no, but it's also saying yes. I'm gonna hire the right person, and they're going to be able to help me grow the business the way I need to grow it, which allows me to have that free time to be able to focus on the things that really matter. And that's bringing a vision. That's bringing new ideas and new things, and being the visionary that I need to be, and focus more on that than on the day-to-day minutia of the business.
Perfect example of this. Sometimes I lose track of all the major projects we have going on.
Yeah.
But we have another major project that is scheduled to launch April 1st in the CDF business.
Yep.
And that one project was contingent on you nailing down this relationship so that we could make this digital connection. I'll just call it. Now, if you were running all around town, and if you were doing this and doing that, if you were out in operations and doing all this stuff, you wouldn't have the time to sit down, make these calls, send these emails, get in these meetings, and then send me the email last night of exactly what we needed to start testing and doing all this stuff, but you won't see the benefit of that those weeks of work and that one final email that I got that we can get to work on this. You won't see the benefit for a few months.
Right.
But saying yes oftentimes becomes a distraction. Saying no becomes protection.
Yeah.
I think that's another thing to think about.
100%. It does.
So, I think another thing that will really, really help people as you're trying to get proficient in this discipline is tell somebody.
Yeah.
Tell somebody what you're trying to do. Hey, I'm trying to say yes to less things. I'm trying to say no to more things. And here's some things you can help me with.
Right.
I have to commit to my health, and I want to work out 2 days a week or whatever. I'm going to intermittent fast until 12 p.m. So when you're telling people what you're doing, now you've got some accountability, not just with the person that you're telling and asking them to hold you accountable, but now you're openly saying it. And I don't want to look like a liar or a failure, right? Yeah. So when you say publicly what you're trying to do, that can be a big, big boost in encouragement to help you stay consistent and disciplined.
Right. And the second thing, and you said this earlier, and when you started talking about that, it made me think of it again, is when you write something down, and you write goals down, and you write something that you want to accomplish down, you have such a higher rate of a percentage to doing that than you did if you just said it and then you walk away and said, "Oh, I'm going to do this," and then you walk away and then come back a week later, 2 weeks later, you can't even remember what you said. But if you write it down and this in front of you and you look at it every single day and say, "Hey, here's my goals. These are the things that are most important to me right now. Here's the things that, as I look through my calendar, I'll look through whatever, and I'm moving those out. I'm letting somebody else do this. I'm going to say no to this. I'm just going to focus on these things, especially as the new year comes. What are those most important things that you can say yes to? And then focus on those. But if you write them down, make that list, it's a lot harder to walk away from that list than it is because you're seeing it every day. But if you don't write it down, your chances of success are a lot less.
Yeah. And really what you're talking about is kind of the one of the last points here. And that is we're talking about systematize. Everything's got to be scalable, especially when you're an owner, a leader, manager. Everything's got to be scalable.
It does.
But you're talking, if you can systematize, is that even a word?
It is today.
Systematize. If you can systematize your disciplines to help you with being consistent, I'll give you an example of some things. So we use our calendars all the time now. Right. Everything that goes in the calendar. If I got a task, a reminder, I can't say the GOOGLE word because then he'll wake up and want to listen. But
it already is.
Then he'll like take notes and everything too. But I tell it, hey, set me a reminder for this. Remind me I got to do this tomorrow at 3:00. Put it on my calendar.
Yeah.
That helps me. That system helps me remember to do things. The other thing I'd use is, so I got this new watch. I got it for Christmas. Before I had the Garmin Vivo Active 4. Now I have the Vivo Active 6. So shout out to Garmin, but I love this little watch.
All right.
So whenever I work out, the little watch, I can turn it on and I can do the elliptical and then pause it. When I'm doing my other workout, I can, it tracks my sets and how much weight and reps and all that kind of stuff I'm doing. And then what I do at the end of the week is I go on my little Garmin app on my phone and I look at my workouts and, I've kind of developed a system of like tracking myself. Well, that encourages me to continue to work out 3 times a week because I know I'm going to look at my reports at the end of the week to see how I'm doing.
Right.
Speaking of this watch, it does have some downsides. Number one, it's got the sleep tracker. Okay. It's really uncomfortable to sleep with this watch on when you have this hand under your pillow.
But don't you have an Oura ring?
No, Landy has the Oura ring.
Oh, why don't you get one?
Because then I don't want to have an Oura ring for sleep tracking and this watch.
Well, don't wear the watch. Wear the watch for working out.
But then it's not all in one place. It's all in the Garmin app.
Okay.
That's not even the problem.
You do you.
Okay, that's not even the problem. I can tolerate wearing the watch, for the most part. But you know what? I always thought that I slept great. I always woke up feeling refreshed, no problems. I never realized how bad my sleep is until I started wearing this watch. So Landy is getting sleep scores like 96, 89, 92, and I'm like 47, 54. I'm like, dude, I never realized. So now I'm thinking, am I really sleeping bad? Or like I'm all in my head now? Or is it just because the watch is telling me that I'm sleeping bad that now I think I'm sleeping bad?
The problem is when you go to bed and you're thinking about it, you're thinking about it. And you shouldn't be thinking about it.
Constantly.
You should be, that's the problem. You got to get past that, just go to bed.
But I have a system now of I get up in the morning and I read my morning report. Garmin sends me a morning report of my sleep, how my day was, my heart rate at night, breathing, all that kind of stuff. So now, because I look forward to that report every morning, I feel like I'm obligated to wear the watch.
So we have we bought the whole family for Christmas. Everybody's got an Oura ring now because Stephanie and I started wearing one, 4 or 5 months ago, and it tracks all the different things just like it does for Landy. Well, you can do circles where it has the whole family, or you can watch it. Well, now you're watching all your scores and seeing how you slept, how your activity is, because it tracks all my activities as well for the day, just like your Garmin would. But I don't have to wear a watch to bed, which is nice. But but it has all of it, and then I can see everybody else's scores for the night before, the day before. So I can see who's done well and so who's not sleeping good and all that. And it honestly it helps accountability a little bit because you're kind of comparing and doing it. But it's we've enjoyed having it. It's been a good talking point, to be honest with you. It's funny.
Yeah. We talk about our sleep score on our group text message. It's probably way too much.
We probably do.
We need better things to talk about.
Just say no.
Maybe I should get that Oura ring and then just wear the watch when I wake up.
Well, that's up to you. That's what I would do.
I feel like I've been challenged by this podcast.
You should.
Today. Okay, couple quick last few things. You know, I want to put this into a couple of sound bites that you can remember and then leave you with some takeaways. So first, just remember, enjoyment is not the evidence of importance. You really have to have a better mechanism for determining, is what I'm doing, how I'm spending my time, bringing value to me, bringing value to the business, is what I'm doing important? Because just because it's something that you enjoy does not actually mean that it's important. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not, but that can't be your only measuring stick.
You're right, exactly.
Right? And then the next thing is, this is going to sound cliche, but it's true. Most cliche things are typically pretty true.
They are.
But discomfort is your doorway to growth. The only caveat here that you really have to be aware of is you have to do these things consistently, because you are not typically going to see overnight success with anything that you do when it comes to discomfort. You really have to be consistent for weeks, for years. I did a job for years where I traveled week after week after week, and it was super uncomfortable. But had I not done those things for years early on, learned the things that I learned, grew the way that I grew, and made those sacrifices, there's absolutely no possible way I'd be doing what I'm doing today, sitting here today, or have the success that I feel like, you know, we have right now, had I not been incredibly uncomfortable.
Yeah. And that's such a great point. When I saw that and you read it as a doorway is, or a discomfort is the doorway to growth. It is. I mean, that's such a true statement. Yeah, it is a cliche, but that's such a good one, because when you get out of your comfort zone and you do things, it stretches you, it helps you to grow, and that's the whole part of it. If you want to grow in your career, you'll never be able to grow in your career for the most part if you don't get out of your comfort zone and just get out somewhere where it's like, you know, it's because it stretches you. It makes you do things that you're not comfortable doing, but then you do it, and then you maybe do a little bit more. And the next thing you know becomes second nature, and it's not a hard thing to do at all. And so it can be really good.
You know, that made me think of something else, though. You're causing yourself to not discover things that you may actually enjoy because you feel like they could be too uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And yes, Quentin, I do have an example for this. I used to never be a morning person, okay? Now, I know that's like embarrassing to say. When you're like a business leader, to admit you're not a morning person is embarrassing, because everybody wants to think that business leaders are up at 3, 4 in the morning, working out, drinking coffee, drinking a smoothie, you know, multitask. They're on the treadmill and they're vlogging or whatever, okay? That's not the case. I hated getting up, and I would wait till the very last minute to get up in the morning. And then I would try to squeeze in quiet time before I went to bed. Well, that's terrible, because I was tired and all that. Well, I was really convicted about that. So I made the decision, like, I'm going to start getting up in the morning early. So I set my alarm for 5 a.m. and I was getting up at 5 a.m. Now, to some of you listening, you're way better than me. I know that's like sleeping in for you. Okay, maybe I'll get on your level one day. But 5 a.m. for me is super early, man. So I started doing it day after day after day, and I hated it. But you know what? I've been doing it for, I don't know, a couple of years now, and now I love it. I have discovered that I love getting up early in the morning, having that quiet time. Now for me, it's, you know, prayer and study and all that. But like on Saturday morning, I get up early, have a cup of coffee, watch Sports Center. I watch it on repeat, you know, one episode, then it's just,
and everybody's in bed.
Everybody's in bed and asleep.
Quiet.
I usually get about an hour and a half, and then Everly comes up and she wants me to fix her breakfast, which is fine. But I discovered through that period of discomfort and discipline that, you know what? I love getting up early in the morning. I never would have realized that before.
Yeah.
So
I get it.
So you don't have to be uncomfortable forever.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll do these things and you'll end up falling in love with those processes. You know?
Yeah.
Okay. 2 last things I want to leave you with, and as challenges. So don't forget the first challenge I talked to you about, and that was, I want you to think about what you're doing throughout the day that maybe you enjoy, things that you're saying yes to that you really shouldn't be doing, that somebody else needs to be doing. So don't forget about that. But the other two things is, I want you to think about, where has saying no created a breakthrough for you? And the reason why these are important is because I want you to reinforce that saying no to things or saying yes to things creates positive energy for you. And I want you to view these decisions through a different lens. Okay. So think about, when's the last time saying no created a breakthrough for you? And then the next thing is, what yes have you been avoiding? Might be a conversation,
right,
might be a business move, might be something that you know that you need to be doing, personally or professionally. I bet for a lot of you, it's a conversation. I bet over half the people listening right now, there's a conversation in your business that you know you should be having because you feel a certain kind of way about an individual and you avoid having this conversation. So you just carry it around because you don't want the awkwardness of actually getting it out in the open. So what is the yes that you have been avoiding?
Right. And it's not going to go away, right?
No.
So it's only going to get worse. So I agree with you. That's great. I mean, this has been a great episode. Just look at your calendar, go through it, mark it up, however you need to do it, but just look and see what are the things that you should be doing and what are the things you shouldn't be doing. And it's just it's a simple yes or no. That's not that simple sometimes, but deep down you'll know what it is.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. 100%. All right. Well, hey, hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you did, then we look forward to seeing you on our next episode. Don't forget, follow us on our social media, YouTube, Facebook, all the things. Like, share, subscribe. And we cannot wait to talk to you again soon. We love you, appreciate you. Have a great rest of your week. See ya.
See ya.